Fox News is told that Jack Smith will be gone from his post as special counsel, meaning the cases will be gone before Trump takes the oath of office.
So now that he's won the election, DOJ officials are thinking that, look, there's just no room to move in these cases. And so the sensible thing to do is to figure out a way to wind them down.
On November 5th, 2024, baby, President-elect Donald J. Trump won the 2024 presidential election. Jack Smith's cases are going bye-bye, can't prosecute a sitting president, and they're going to wind this up before Trump even gets into office. We know why that is. So they can start shredding their case files. They've got a bunch of burn bags happening right now and shredded, walk into the DOJ, we're like, I'm sorry, I can't tell you right now. We're in the middle of some remodeling here. And so all over the place. So they're going to start winding this up already. They're not going to wait for Trump to come in and fire Jack Smith, who's completely illegitimate. So they're going to start figuring out, how do we stop these cases from moving forward? And they were just, remember, weeks ago, releasing document after document to try to smear Trump appendix after appendix. Well, now it's all going bye-bye. Several reports here from the cables.
We have some news about special counsel Jack Smith, this man right here. Donald Trump said recently that he would fire Jack Smith, quote, within 2 seconds of taking office. Well, we found out that he may not have that opportunity. The reason is that the Department of Justice, where Jack Smith works, cannot prosecute a sitting president. Fox News is told that Jack Smith will be gone from his post as special counsel, meaning the cases will be gone before Trump takes the oath of office.
Run, Jack.
On January 20th. This is
Run
the
away.
documents case, though that was dropped already by Judge Eileen Cannon back over the summer, and it's on appeal, but also this case for Trump's alleged efforts to try to overturn the 2020 election. So given the fact DOJ policy says you cannot prosecute a sitting president, expect Jack Smith's cases to be done. The last case, and I'll end on this, is that Atlanta case that deals with the 2020 elections. That's a local Georgia case. We've seen over the last year how that has played out with Fonnie Willis, Nathan Wade. That has many problems, many different delays. So the bottom line for my story to all of you right now, Donald Trump's legal problems have essentially all gone away since he won last night.
Oh, baby. So there will still be some pending issues in the New York case with Alvin Bragg. He's still got the civil case with Tish James and that $500 million verdict that is up on appeal, which looks like that's on thin ice. Merchan is not going to sentence Trump to jail. That's lunacy. Now that he won the popular vote of the country, they can try, but that would be a big problem for him. I think he'll ultimately dismiss that case. He'll find a reason why there was immune conduct in there, and that will go away too. So that's their report. We also have this report from, I think, MSNBC. Let's see what they say.
Yeah, Chris, it's not a surprise that these cases can't go forward when Donald Trump takes office. What's interesting here is that the DOJ is moving to end them even before he takes office, citing the long-standing DOJ policy that sitting presidents can't be prosecuted. And there was some thought that maybe special counsel Jack Smith was going to sprint through the finish line, was going to work up until the last day,
very hard.
force Trump to fire him, wait till a new attorney general was appointed. But that does not appear to be the thinking inside the department. The thinking is that these cases can't go forward. There's no reasonable prospect of getting to trial within the 3 months before Donald Trump takes office. These cases are mired in legal issues that would be appealed all the way to the Supreme Court had Donald Trump lost the election. So now that he's won the election, DOJ officials are thinking that, look, there's just no room to move in these cases. And so the sensible thing to do is to figure out a way to wind them down. And it may stem from Donald Trump's lawyers filing some kind of motion or making a request saying, in light of the DOJ policy, you need to drop these cases. Now, there are a few wrinkles here, one of which is that the classified documents case includes 2 other defendants who are not subject to that policy. And it's been dismissed, obviously, but that dismissal has been appealed. And the DOJ considers that ruling to be very bad law, that it would like to be overturned. So that appeal may continue in some form. But the reality is that Donald Trump is not going to be a part of these cases. And what this means, I mean, we knew this, right? But just coming to grips with what this means intellectually is that Donald Trump is not likely to be held accountable on these very serious federal criminal charges that many people believe were worse than what Richard Nixon did or was accused of doing in Watergate. Now, there's no guarantee that Donald Trump would have been convicted at trial, but as Joyce Vance, our legal commentator, said to me this morning, what's not going to happen is he's not going to face a jury of his peers who would evaluate the evidence and render a verdict.
The jury of America.
It's going to be lost to history whether a jury would have found him guilty.
Oh, gosh, they're so upset about it. This has been their life since January 6th. Could you imagine? Your whole life is watching somebody get prosecuted, and then everybody around you just says, says, will you relax, you weird person? It's not even a big deal. Calm down. We're going to make him president again. You go, what? Because you've been losing your mind over it, like democracy's over and so on and so forth. Now, we also have to remember our J6ers who have also been victimized, who are not presidents, who are not going to have immunity. And we see some new motions are being filed by one J6 defendant. His name is Christopher Carnell. And so we're asking, is this going to change a slew of things in these cases? And there's a bunch of them, a bunch of people who should not be in prison or in custody are in custody. A lot of people who've had their homes raided should never have had their homes raided. So this guy, Christopher Carnell, hereby moves to continue the status conference. Bunch of stuff is scheduled right now in the DC courts, saying this week, he just filed this, right, immediately. Said, we got a status conference coming up like in 2 days on Friday. So he now moves for a continuance of that. He wants to postpone that hearing from November 8th to December 13th. Why? Well, he says, well, this week's status hearing is expected to involve discussions about the government's intent to pursue an obstruction charge against me and to set a sentencing date for the misdemeanor counts of conviction. So looks like trial's already happened. He's been convicted. Now, after this date was scheduled sua sponte by the court, so the court put this date on here from November 8th, new developments arose that significantly impact the status of this case. First, on November 1st, the court issued an opinion in another case establishing a threshold for obstruction prosecutions that the government is not going to be able to meet here. Remember, the Supreme Court came back down and said that obstruction really means you have to obstruct the documents, and the documents that are obstructed have to be used in the proceeding. So like you have to destroy the piece of paper. And they charged a bunch of J6ers with that, even though a bunch of J6ers never destroyed the official document that the law covers. Charged them anyways, just said obstruction, close enough. Supreme Court said, no, it's not what the statute says. You got to tighten that up a bit. And so the court came down and in another case said, this is the standard. And he says, oh, well, that standard is great for us. You can't meet it. Then on November 5th, 2024, baby, President-elect Donald J. Trump won the 2024 presidential election. Ooh, that feels good. Now, throughout his campaign, President-elect Trump made multiple clemency promises to the J6 defendants, particularly to those who were non-violent participants. Mr. Carnell, who was an 18-year-old non-violent entrant to the Capitol on J6, is expected to be relieved of the criminal prosecution that he's currently facing when Trump takes office. The court has asked the parties to present status arguments on November 8th, but as of today, Mr. Carnell is now awaiting further information from the office of the president-elect regarding the timing and the expected scope of the clemency actions relevant to his case. And I hope this happens so fast, man, like day one. Furthermore, counsel for the co-defendant, Kira West, has announced her retirement and is withdrawing from this case. And so Mr. Carnell must await the appointment of new counsel for his co-defendant, Mr. Bowman, to facilitate defense coordination and the joint defense strategy moving forward. So this is like, oh, we just need a lot of time to work on our case. How much time? Well, we don't know. Probably like, January 22nd. How about that? We can come back and have a status conference on January 22nd. That work for you, Judge? Well, his lawyer is retiring. Accordingly, Mr. Carnell respectfully requests a continuance of the status hearing in order to update the court. And so please continue this, postpone it to December 13th. They'll come back on the 13th. They'll ask for another one. They can't ask for too much time. So you can see they asked for about 5 weeks here, pushing it. It's like a big ask. 30 days is normal. They could postpone it 30 days, put another week on there. Then they'll get to December 13th. Someone will have a knee injury, an ACL will be broken or something. I don't know. My back hurts, Judge. Can't come to court. Can we come back on? We'll ask for another 5 weeks. They're looking at their calendar. Okay, another 5 weeks. Perfect. Yeah. December 13th, they'll come back out. It'll be January 22nd. See, you can see it. Another 5 weeks. They just did the math. They timed it out. And Trump will be president. Weird. All right. So shout out to Marina Medvin, counsel for defendant. Great stuff. Love it. You know, this is perfect. It's good defense lawyering right here. I can't wait to see what happens on December 13th. This one got in fast, baby. Marina Medvin, she's got the whole thing drafted. Okay. She's like typing it up. Fox News calls the race and she's like, and filed. Trump wins. Submitted. Thank you. So it came out December 6th and there you go. Just got dropped in and we're going to see a lot more of those. And we should, because what has happened to the J6ers and everybody prosecuted by the Harris-Biden corrupt DOJ deserves justice and they deserve it expeditiously. And we hope they get it.